since I was a little kid, I was always constantly fidgeting and painting and drawing, and even when I played with my toys, I always wanted to just arrange them and like build backdrops for them. I just want to decorate and paint and add colors to things.
Turns
the
colorful.
Rainbows just keep
Pouring
invading.
out of you. Yeah. Welcome to Touring the Most. I'm your host, Jordan Hurt, and today we'll be meeting with artist Katwise, who took a quaint farmhouse and turned it into a whimsical rainbow wonderland. Kat has tried many different professions throughout her years of travel, from baker to translator to even working with Mother Teresa. Now, Kat funds the ongoing renovations to her colorful home by creating handmade, upcycled sweaters. That's why she calls the home Calico, the house that sweaters built. Let's go meet Kat.
Hi, Jordan.
How are you?
Great, welcome.
So nice to meet you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
Wow. And who is this?
This is Lucas.
Hi.
We got our matching sweaters on.
I love it. So this house is amazing upon arrival. I mean, I saw the house from a mile away. There's so many different colors.
Yeah, my neighbor said that people used to drive really fast on the road, but now everyone slows down.
Yeah, they have to stop and appreciate it, right?
Yeah, it's very bright, like a gingerbread house from the fairy tales. When I walked out of the paint store, people lined up and gave me an ovation.
Walk me through the lay of the land.
So the house is an old house up by the road, and then it goes back about 40 acres into the woods, and we've got some barns and little workshops and guest houses and chicken coops and a little bit of everything. All right, welcome to the kitchen.
Wow. Do we notice anything?
You have the perfect outfit on. I almost don't see you. You're kind of
I
camouflaged.
literally match the whole kitchen. Like, that's crazy.
As you can see, I love the color seafoam. The house is so crazy in rainbow that this one place being one color is sort of soothing to me. If I see some old vintage thing that's seafoam, I'm like, mine. So they've got a telephone and a toaster and a funny stove. That is a 1956 GE Liberator stove.
Wow.
It's like the Cadillac of mid-century electronics.
You've got this little cute nook over here.
Yeah, the breakfast nook. We have these bright yellow chairs, so it feels like this sunshine area. And we have Rue McClanahan from the Golden Girls made out of garbage. And over here, this is really cool. When we got the house, there was this woman who had lived here for 60 years and raised her kids here, and she had marked their heights on it. So we just started adding our friends' heights to it. This week marks 13 years in the house. The house was built in 1840. The person we got it from, her name was Faye. She just passed away this summer, but she was a beautiful friend. She's definitely a big part of the reason why we fell in love with this place. That is my fish tank that I found on Craigslist for $100 or whatever, thinking, oh, we'll just like put it in the kitchen, and did not understand that it would require knocking out a wall and putting in I-beams and pouring a foundation. My like whimsical impulse
turned into a major project.
It's sort of a metaphor for every single thing about this house.
You're under the sea as you're doing this kind of mundane chore, right?
Yes, very peaceful. I grew up in a harbor town on Long Island, and my family has a fishing business. Speaking of fish, I also used to follow the band Fish and the Grateful Dead. I was definitely a free-spirited wanderer, and so to support my wandering habit, I would just get odd jobs, like sell Christmas trees or paint murals, just to keep myself traveling further. But mostly I made patchwork clothes, so that's what I still do. This is our guest nook. These masks here are from Ecuador. On New Year's Eve, everyone puts on masks and makes effigies that they burn. And I go there every year for New Year's and always bring some masks back. The whole town just has fires all over the street and people running around jumping over it.
Do you have a favorite mask?
I kind of like the Alberto Fujimori mask. He was the president of Peru. Most of them are politicians. I've had some good times in that wolf mask for sure. Nobody likes sleeping near them, but I think they're hilarious. And then when we were doing all this, our neighbor's tree fell down, so we got to incorporate some of the birch tree into it. Oh, I want to show you one of my treasures.
Let's see it.
Given to us by Faye, the woman who lived here, and it's a picture of the house from, I think, the 1950s. You can see what a cute little farmhouse it was once upon a time. Little green shutters and this nice front porch.
Are the kids
are
swimming?
in a rowboat.
Oh my God, I love that.
And there's a little bench in the front yard and a little dirt road. This is the beating heart that is beneath all the paint.
Yeah, beautiful.
This is the stairway to our basement, but we made it extra fancy. Here, it should go on.
Oh, wow.
It's the blacklight hallway.
Very trippy. It's truly an acid trip in there.
Everyone always assumes that I take lots of LSD and mushrooms and psychedelics. I am a very psychedelic person, but I absorb the colors through osmosis. I don't actually take the drugs. I'm unusual deadhead in that I never smoked a cigarette, never smoked pot. I'm a little goody two-shoes.
That's really quite fascinating.
Yeah, but hey, I'm 46 and who knows what the future holds.
Sure.
And this is the ballroom.
Whoa. Like a hall of mirrors, right?
Yeah.
So many bugs and insects.
Those are all things that I just collected from the Amazon or Southeast Asia. I bought them in frames. I didn't go out and
Catch them and bring them back. Yeah.
This is where I do yoga every morning. It's probably a little weird to do yoga surrounded by all these dead animals, but I haven't figured that one out yet.
No, it sounds like it works for you.
One thing I really love about this room is that it's totally empty, and so we use it to do the photo shoots for my sweaters. There's a seamless paper there, and then we set the lights up here.
So what is your favorite mirror in here?
Wow. No one's ever asked me that before.
Yeah.
Probably this one.
Okay.
Because it's a door.
That's a door?
Yeah, it's a door.
A door to where?
Dun, da, 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 da.
Oh, a hidden room. Okay.
Welcome to the library.
Wow.
This is my partner, Mason.
Hi, Mason.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Have you been in here the whole time?
Yeah.
In your hidden room?
Hidden away in my lair.
Oh my
The
gosh.
only part of the house that I don't have jurisdiction over.
Okay, this is your territory.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll leave you guys to it.
All right, we'll see you soon. There's a lot to take in here. It's like a whole nother world. It reminds me of like a bespoke cocktail lounge, right?
Yeah, well, funny you mentioned that. We put in a little secret bar behind the...
Let's see it.
Oh, right this way.
Oh.
So these slide out,
Of course they do.
and we've got a little selection
You've got your
of
scotch.
tippling here.
You've got, your bourbon. It's perfect for this room. It matches the vibe like to a T. I'm just looking at like some of this woodwork here.
Oh yeah, that actually all came from Craigslist. It was a crazy find that Kat scooped up.
Love this record player.
Oh, thank you. It was my great aunt Gertz, which actually worked.
Let's hear it. What year is this from?
Probably the turn of the 20th century.
And it's still in like such great condition.
Yeah. And it's entirely, this is the volume basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, you've really created a feeling in this room.
Oh, thank you. Oh. Whee. I work remotely as a programmer, so I'm set up in here a lot of the time. I play Dungeons and Dragons with a bunch of old friends.
This is the room to do that in.
Yeah, a bunch of instruments too. I'm in a couple bands, one of which is named after Jorge's short story, and that's a bust of Jorge Luis right there.
Okay.
One of my favorite authors.
So far, this may be my favorite room in the house, but there's still so much more to see. This feels like we're inside one of your sweaters.
This is basically what the inside of my brain looks like. A lot of these fabrics are things I collected in my travels. There's like saris from India and curtains from Ecuador and Turkey and Kazakhstan, and these are my great grandmother's candlesticks. In the winter,
This is where you
yeah,
cozy
and
up.
there's a movie screen here. We just like snuggle up by the fire and watch movies. I made this in college, actually. It was all my old clothes that I had from like following the Grateful Dead, and they were getting kind of threadbare. So I cut them up and I made a quilt out of them. You know, when you don't wear your clothes anymore, but you're too sentimentally attached to them.
You gotta keep a little part of it.
Yeah, it was a way to keep it. Everything I do is kind of upcycled, and I love to think that these belong to people and they lived their own stories.
Yeah.
And so I was so inspired by textiles of other countries, but I didn't have a home for 15 years. I was just traveling. So I would just grab little bits of fabric and store them in my parents' basement. I really loved hitchhiking, so I hitchhiked all over like Europe and Asia and Africa and South America. And for 15 years, I don't think I had stayed anywhere more than 3 months. I don't know why. I was like, no, I need a home. And then like, bam, just got like the ball and chain of this place. And I've been here now 13 years. I can't even believe that.
So you've got your dining area over here.
I found this really cool piece of wood on Craigslist. It was from some tree that fell down in a hurricane in Mexico. My friend Yolandi from South Africa made these cool placemats. And the chairs are just something from the thrift store. I love to paint and upholster.
We cannot leave without talking about the Miss Pac-Man machine.
Look how sexy she is.
Super sexy.
With her little high heel shoes. This was in my friend's garage and he was moving. And I was like, ooh, I'll take it. Here is our treacherous staircase.
Ooh.
It's like an optical illusion.
Wow, I love the checker print. I love the black, white, and red.
Yes, it's very graphic.
Yeah.
And then these stained glass windows were from Craigslist, but allegedly from the mansion of the guy who wrote Frosty the Snowman.
Interesting.
I don't know, that might be a lie.
Well, let's go with it.
And the dragon's from Burma. That's where my mom grew up. This is the bedroom.
These are almost like structural columns
built
into the bed.
We went to an architectural salvage place, and so these are like old porch columns.
I love this stained glass.
It gives really nice ambient lighting.
Exactly.
These are my little children. I just see them at the thrift store and I can't leave them there.
Right.
I feel like
they gotta come home with you.
I need to rescue them.
Okay, sorry. I'm just looking at the headboard too. What are those guys?
That is a painting that my friend Miguel in Ecuador did, and it's Inti Raymi festival in Latacunga. It's like the solstice festival, and that's the traditional clothing people wear. He calls it Apollo 13, like Apollo 13, because they look like astronauts.
Yeah.
And I always think that they're like watching over my dreams. Those are like the boatmen who take me to my slumberland.
Okay.
Welcome to my studio.
Ooh, this is where all the magic happens.
Yes, this is my office here with the thrift shopping, and saw all this needlepoint everywhere, and I couldn't leave it there because somebody like spent all winter making it, and then it's for $1 in the bargain bin. So I just started collecting. Any one of them like individually is like horrifying, but when you put 100 of them together, they're magical.
Cohesive.
These inspirational quotes on them.
Oh Lord, give me a bastard with talent.
I don't even know what that means.
Nobody does, but give them to me anyway.
This is where I sew. This whole house sprang forth from this overlock machine right here. This is where I spend hours and hours and hours a day. I learned to sew when I was 15 and I was following the Grateful Dead and I needed some craft to support myself. I loved all the clothes, but because I'm kind of tall and oversized for your average deadhead girl, I had to make my own clothes. And when I started sewing, it was like I was growing wings and learning.
Wow.
Like it was so awesome that I could express myself in my clothes.
Yeah.
Now it's really cool because I get to do that for other people. Like I get to help them express themselves.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how bad things get in my life, I always feel like at peace when I'm sewing. If I'm anxious, I can sew. If I'm happy, I can sew. I can put on music and sew. Yeah. Some people dance, some people sing, and I just sew. Here is where I keep all my sweaters, and this is where I cut everything out.
Oh, okay. First of all, look at this floor.
You have the perfect outfit for it.
I understood the assignment today. How did you get it to be this color?
They were just plain pine floors, and there's this tint called Mixol, and you just put it in the clear polyurethane. And to get this effect, probably costs less than $20. I love this floor.
It's like walking on water.
You're like Jesus.
Yes. Well, Don't give me a God complex.
So I always have like sweaters dumped in a pile here, and then I like play around with the colors. I just sit here and I put on music and like chop, chop, chop. A couple years ago, we had a tornado that crushed that part of the house. And one of the benefits through the magic of insurance is that we put in a balcony. So this is our tornado gift. Here's our balcony.
Oh, wow. It's huge.
Yeah, I love to stand out here and just like pretend I'm like the
in.
lord of a manor and be like, as far as the eye can see.
Well, you are of your own manor. You've got your barn over here, and I'm sorry, am I looking at 2 buses?
Yes, I have a couple of psychedelic school buses left over from my wild youth. They were both my homes at one point, starting when I was a teenager. So we've been all over the country in those.
And then you've got chickens.
We do have a lot of birds. We've got like 30 or so. We have Muscovy ducks and silky chickens. It's cool to stand up here and watch them all poke around.
Yeah. And a great view of the pond over there, and Mason admiring the birds as well.
And our hot tub for the snowy nights.
That's so nice to have. I'm very curious about those buses. Can we go see the inside of the bus?
Of course, come on. When I was a teenager, I got the big bus and painted it all up as my first car. That's how I learned to drive, was on a school bus. And I drove it out to California, and it was my dorm room at UC Santa Cruz. And then I sold it on eBay. And for 10 years, I didn't have it. But then literally the month we bought this house, the woman who bought the bus gave it back to me. So that bus is like my spirit animal.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is massive, first of all.
Yeah, it's a full-size 30-foot school bus.
Right. So you've got your living room over here, bedroom back here.
Yeah, and storage under the bed. And there's been times when there's been 20 people sleeping in here when we go to Burning Manor.
In real estate, we call this open concept.
It's my open concept
magic school bus. What are these little baby hands?
There's baby hands everywhere. This bus just like bleeds doll parts. When I lived in it, this was all covered with feather boas and velvet curtains. When I did not own it, it was used as a party bus at the Omni Theater in Atlanta. So I know like the Rolling Stones and Elton John, and like there have been various celebrities in here, but not in my tenure.
How do you get to the top?
There's a ladder on the back.
Oh, okay, of course.
I mean, you can go up it if you want.
Very cool. So Kat, thank you so much for inviting us into your beautiful home. It's been a privilege getting to know you, learning about your story, your travels, your art. Do you have any advice for someone that's looking to get into something like this?
People are always talking about resale value, and I think it's my house. I want to live in it. I want to make it how I want it. You don't have to make it for some fictional future person.
Sure.
That said, I do try to honor the spirit of the house as not to really change the form of it. I'm just putting a candy layer on top.
It certainly has paid off. It's a really beautiful property that you have here. Let us know what special and unique properties you'd like to see in the near future.